Welcome back, y'all. So this video is a recent review of my latest sailing on board the Celebrity Beyond with an itinerary to the ABC Islands. So stick around, because if you're going to go on the Beyond in the near future, you're not going to want to miss this one. Those of you who watch my channel regularly may be asking yourself, didn't you just do a review of the Beyond? And to answer your question, yes, I most certainly did. Now you might be saying to yourself, but wait, Corey, why is this different? You just went to the ABC Islands in that video, and you would be correct in that assumption. With that said, that was my first time on the Beyond, and things just didn't go exactly as planned, and honestly didn't quite meet my expectations. So I thought, let me give the Beyond another try with Captain Kate at the helm and see if things are any better or different, so here we are. I'm going to give you an updated review of the Beyond to see what might have gotten better or, if anything, got worse. In this video, I'll cover the service, the ports, the food, and the entertainment and activities. I won't go into too many details about the topics, but more so a high-level overview of each category. If you're wanting a more detailed review of the entertainment on the Beyond, be sure to check out the card in the top right corner right up there, or the link down below in the description. Right, so if you're new to Celebrity, new to cruising, or curious what the Beyond is like, you won't want to miss a minute of this video because I've got you completely covered. But before we start, right, so now that's out of the way, let's get started with the service. Celebrity is known for their service and making you feel, well, like a celebrity, and this sailing was for the most part living up to that reputation. I arrived to the terminal at, I want to say about 11:10, and boarding had recently already started. I was through security, checked in, and on board the ship by 11:16. This very well may have been a record, and that's a good thing because the seating in the terminal, while stylish, is actually quite uncomfortable. Thankfully, you're never really sitting in the terminal for more than an hour or so, even if you're the first one in the door. When I arrived to my cabin, I met my very friendly and engaging room steward, Lowry. He asked about some of my preferences, and the mini fridge was stocked with items that are available for purchase. However, I did ask that these items be removed so that I could use the fridge for my own personal item. Unfortunately, he never did actually remove any of the items, so I just took them out and set them on the counter, so no big deal. He did ask if I would like the canapes in the afternoon, and word to the wise, they're awful. So ask your room steward if you can have a fruit and cheese plate instead. And Lori did make that happen for me every day, and I have to tell you, the fruit and cheese plates are fantastic. In addition, my cabin didn't have the Celebrity tote bag, which is actually something I've received in the past when staying in a concierge cabin, and actually find them quite handy. I'm not sure if they're not providing them anymore or whatever, but nonetheless, I did ask if it was possible to get one, and one was provided for me that very same day. The first night I dined in Cosmopolitan, and I do have to say that the service was actually just a little bit slow. The rest of the time, though, the service was quite expeditious. I typically also go to Al Bacio at least once a day for my iced mochas, which are fantastic, and the service was pretty average here. Some days were faster than others, and the waitresses were very friendly and made some excellent drinks. I just wish that the team would be a little bit more attentive. I often saw them standing by the counter and not really walking around so much. If I could, I would order my drink at the counter and take it. However, if you do that, you only get paper cups to go. And I honestly have to tell you that I do love my mochas in the glass milk jugs that they come in, and they really do taste different and quite actually much better. Captain Kate was so pleasant and always provided great daily updates and fun trivia questions. One question for you. Did you know that the theater on board the Celebrity Beyond actually cost more than Royal Caribbean's first ship? Mind blown. Overall, the crew on the Beyond are really just fantastic, and I never encountered anyone that was unfriendly or unwilling to do their best to resolve any situation. And honestly, that's one reason that I just keep going back. Real quick, before I move on to the next topic, those of you who have cruised in the past might know the challenges that cruisers nowadays face when it comes to power supplies in the cabin to charge your personal devices. And I gotta tell you about a product that I've been using for the past several years, and it's made by Anker. And it is a power cube. And you can see right here, it's a very small box, only about the width of my hand and only a few inches tall. And inside you will find this lovely power cube. And you can see it's got 3 USB ports, 2 USB-A, 1 USB-C, and on every side you've got an outlet. And it comes with about a 5-foot extension cord here with a 3-prong plug that goes into the wall socket. It's very nice and neatly wound up and kept very compact. So I gotta tell you though, this is actually a really good product. I've never had any problems taking it on board any of the cruises that I've been on, whether it be Celebrity, Princess, Royal Caribbean, Disney. No problems on any of the ships. And if you are interested in this product, it's very inexpensive, less than $20, and I will put a description right there down below for you if you're wanting to get one of these high quality power cubes. Okay, let's move on to the ports. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this sailing made port in the ABC Islands, better known as Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Well, I've been to all 3, obviously. Just a few months ago, I did want to do something different in each of these ports this time. Right, so starting in Aruba, I decided to do snorkeling here. This is not something that I did last time in Aruba, and I have to tell you, it did not disappoint. I decided to book a third-party excursion and save some money, and I want to say that this excursion cost me about $75 or so. However, it did not include transportation to and from the port. This was booked through shoreexcursionsgroup.com. Pretty good price, like I said, $75. And I did end up taking a taxi over to the Palm Island Snorkeling Shack aboard the Octopus. And the taxi to the excursion cost me $20 going and $16 return. There are no meters in the cab, so be sure to ask up front about the cost and if they accept credit cards. It's best to know the price, obviously, before you even leave, so that there are no surprises in the end. At the end of the day, I think they basically just charge you whatever they want, but it's good to know what that price is before you end up leaving. When you arrive to the Holiday Inn, which is the drop-off point, you walk straight back to the beach and hang a left. You'll see a small pier with a bar, and just to the left is the Octopus check-in. This was a 3-hour snorkeling excursion aboard a catamaran. So one nice thing about this excursion was that there was only about 10 of us, versus maybe 30 or 40 that you might see if you book directly with the cruise ship. The first stop was to the SS Antilla, a German cargo ship sunk way back in the 40s. A large ship for the time and over 400 feet long and resting in only about 60 feet of water. Here there were tons of colorful fish that seemed to not care about any of the visitors, as the fish swam right up to your face. You could basically reach out and touch them. The second snorkeling spot was pretty bare. This was right near the shore. There were a couple of rock structures here, which were home to a variety of fish, but not really large in numbers. You are given all of the gear that you need, so that there's nothing that you need to bring along with you. The crew are very friendly and helpful, also provide snacks and or lunch throughout the day, as well as drinks. I would definitely do this excursion again. Right, so the next port was Bonaire, and the last time in Bonaire I went snorkeling, which was amazing. Probably the best snorkeling that I've ever done. This time I decided to check out the port itself, because last time I didn't have any time to do this. It is a cute port, but honestly, there's just not a whole lot here. This is more of a natural island and not a lot of industry. Well, other than the salt mines, which are very cool. Nonetheless, walking around the town, there are plenty of cute shops, a whole bazaar just to the left of where the ship is docked, only about 800 feet away, and more shops just down the road beyond that. Other than that, I think your best bet of maximizing your time in Bonaire is to do an excursion, and snorkeling especially if you are into water activities. The last port on this 8-day voyage was Curacao, my favorite of the ABC Islands, and this port is best explored walking around the town, as there is a lot to see. There are basically 2 port sections, both divided by a very unique floating bridge, and it's called a floating bridge because it literally floats and swings open to let marine traffic in and out. Most everything here is within walking distance. There are a ton of shops on both sides of the river, and you'll want to check out the floating markets as well. Tons of beautiful fresh fruits and vegetables on display, and if you want some authentic Gouda cheese, you'll find an awesome cheese shop just before getting back on board the ship. The cheese can be kept in your fridge and lasts for quite some time. There are plenty of excursion options here as well, and if you want something more structured, this port is just so pretty and clean, which is why it's my favorite. Of course, you can also go to the factory where it's all made. And of course, I'm talking about Curacao liqueur. Where did you think it came from, right? Yep, right here. Oh, and it's not all blue, by the way. They have other varieties as well, in case you're wondering. Right, so that's gonna do it for the ports. Next up, the grub. And right off the bat, I have to tell you, this go around, the food quality was noticeably better. There were still some inconsistencies and things needing improvement, but better than last time. I often had lunch in the Ocean View Cafe, which is where you'll find most variety of options, and very nicely presented at that. One negative, however, with the food here was that the steamed vegetables, which I really loved on the Ascent, were basically tasteless and undercooked. On the first day, they offered seafood paella, which was excellent and very tasty. Flavorful fried chicken and pork scallopini. Some of the items that I had for lunch throughout the week were cioppino on Italian Day, which was just really flavorful with quite a bit of seafood, as well as some really nice mushroom risotto. On American Day, the barbecue chicken was just so tender and a really good, awesome, flavorful barbecue sauce, along with my favorite, braised beef short ribs. And during a taste of the Caribbean, they offered oxtail, which was so tender and just fell right off the bone. And really tasty. Lots of Caribbean spices in this one. On the last day, they offer, usually a seafood quote-unquote extravaganza, and while I wouldn't quite characterize this as an extravaganza, they did have large peel and eat shrimp available. However, they just simply were not good. And in the past, the shrimp were already peeled for you, but these just seem to be way overcooked and basically rubbery. However, the fish and chips were really, really good. While I often did not have breakfast, when I did, it was quite good. My favorite is that the bacon is really crunchy. However, you can also find it a little less cooked if you like it, a little bit chewy. Again, a lot of options that are available for breakfast, and I also enjoyed the Eggs Benedict, which they prepare for you right there. However, sometimes the poached eggs were overcooked because they basically just sit in warm water until being served up. A little tip for you though, most people don't know about the Eden Cafe, which is at the back of the ship. And while this venue is complimentary, it is only open on sea days and for short periods of time. However, the food here is really good. Well, I didn't go for breakfast as breakfast was over by 9 o'clock, I think. I did go for lunch, and the cookies and desserts here are really good, and I am not a dessert person, as you've probably noticed in many of my videos. Here I had the pasta, I can't say pasta, the fagioli soup, as there was no pasta, which was very flavorful, however, and the pork sliders, really nice, hot, fresh, and tasty. There are 4 complimentary main dining rooms on the Edge class, and while you can make reservations, they are not required. If you don't make a reservation, you may have to wait maybe up to 10 minutes, but nothing much more than that. In addition, a tip for you, you can always go to the dining room with the shortest wait, but order from any of the other dining room menus. For example, if you want to eat in Tuscan, but the cauliflower flan is in Cosmopolitan, you can order this, even though it's not on the Tuscan menu. Each dining room has their own signature appetizers, entrees, and desserts that do not change throughout the voyage. They do all, however, share the same daily menu other than that. If you've seen my videos before, you do know that you should know anyway, that the escargot is my favorite daily appetizer. And thankfully this go around, the escargot was excellent each and every night. Always very hot and very garlicky, just the way that I like it. The other item that I had was hit or miss on the last voyage was the breadsticks. This go around, the breadsticks were always crunchy, so nice job Beyond Crew on fixing the minor issues that I had before. The menus in the main dining room typically remain the same on all of the Edge class ships and rarely ever change, which is unfortunate. However, if you do like certain items, that's a good thing because you can always have the same thing each and every time that you sail, if that's the case. I wanted to try something new, so I tried this time the turkey parmesan, and it did not disappoint. It's basically chicken parmesan and very tasty. I also tried the cod with the beurre blanc sauce, which was excellent, flaky and flavorful. However, the quinoa that it came with, I did not like. One of the new items that I tried on another night was the seared duck breast, and this was very nice, tender and rich in flavor. It was not sweet, and the rice, the wild rice, perfectly cooked. The steak Diane, always a hit, very tender, perfectly cooked, and a lovely rich sauce to go with it. Another new item for me was this spinach appetizer, which was very nice and really tasted just like a spinach pie. Well, last time I had the New York steak on the classic side of the menu and it was very good. This time, well, not so much. While it wasn't very tender, it did have great flavor. The gnocchi, another new item for me, was very creamy and a velvety cheese sauce to go with it. I actually really loved this dish. One of the other favorite items that I had was the beef Wellington and truffled mushroom risotto. This is always served on the same night as lobster. However, the lobster this time was simply, how do I put this delicately? Terrible. It basically tasted like it was spoiled lobster. It wasn't even just okay, it was, like I said, terrible. On this sailing, I did opt to do 2 specialty dining venues, and the first, the Rooftop Garden Grill. This is really the most affordable of the specialty dining options and a great value. Typically, you can get this for around $40, and rumor has it that the steaks that they use here are the same steaks that they use in the Fine Cut Steakhouse. However, I cannot confirm or deny that. For dinner here, I had the dry rubbed chicken wings, which are by far my favorite of the appetizers. They're always freshly prepared, piping hot, and really flavorful dry rub that they use. The chicken is really tender and juicy as well. In addition, I had the Caesar salad, which was really tasty, however, a bit soggy and watery, but again, really good flavor. For the entree, I had the ribeye, which was perfectly cooked and very tender, along with a baked potato and smoked mac and cheese. I did also want to try the seafood skewers, so I asked just for one, and they were happy to oblige. The mac and cheese is just so good here. I love the really smoky flavor that they have in the sauce, and the seafood skewer was also very nice. Not my favorite, but still very good. I was way too full here for dessert, however, I can tell you that the s'more dessert is very, very sweet, and much more so prefer the cookie, which is a freshly baked cookie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. The second specialty dining I did was Eden, and I can tell you hands down this is the best restaurant on the Edge class. If you've been on Royal and dined at Wonderland, this is the most similar, and the reason I say that is just because of the uniqueness of the dishes and the drinks. They are very creative and not something that you'd really find anywhere else. For the amuse-bouche, they give you something called a pineapple Malibu, and while I don't like alcohol, this was a really nice palate cleanser. It did have some Malibu rum, but I loved the freshness and the brightness of the pineapple itself. Next up was the sheep's milk gnocchi, and this was fantastic. Super creamy and smooth nuggets of potato pasta with a nice smokiness from the guanciale. If you like crab cakes, I am tempted to say that you will not find a better crab cake anywhere on the planet. And I'm just being honest. This is one of the best things, land or sea, that I've ever eaten. And oddly enough, I'm saying this as someone that doesn't even really love crab cakes in general. This is 95% pure lump Australian crab meat with loads of flavor and a slightly crunchy panko topping. The star of the dish is by far the crab, with little to no filler. For the mains, I had the short rib Wellington, which was so flavorful with the mushroom duxelles inside and the lovely pastry wrapping the short rib. In addition, this comes with a petite filet, which was perfectly cooked, accompanied with a lovely, rich, smooth, and silky wine reduction sauce and some mashed potatoes. In addition, I had the lobster dish, and the first time I dined at Eden on the Edge, I had the lobster dish, and while the lobster was beautiful, the sauce and accompanying corn just didn't seem to go well with lobster. And unfortunately, this was also the case here. The lobster, again, excellent, super tender, very sweet, but the sauce and corn, it just doesn't go so well with the lobster. So I may not have this again in the future. With that said, do not skip dessert in Eden. I had the chocolate pie and oh my God, was it so good. I'd not had this before, but did have the cardamom ice cream before that comes with it and loved it. This time was actually no different. While I wouldn't call it a pie, it was really decadent, not overly sweet or rich, and just went so well with the spiced cardamom ice cream. So good. But wait, there's more. And after your dinner, they bring you a plate of petit fours, and these two were fantastic. I love macarons, and honestly, it's always an incredible meal at Eden. It's not just the food that is really special here, it's also, quite honestly, the service. If you have an opportunity to try Eden, I really highly recommend it, really above any other restaurant on board the Edge class. Right, so that's gonna wrap it up for the food. On to the final topic, but first, I would like to ask if you're enjoying this content, find it helpful and want to see more, please do me a favor and hit that like button right there down below. In addition, please consider hitting that subscribe button with the notification bell on. This way you'll be notified when I put out more content. I don't spam your notifications with videos every week. I try and put out content only a couple of times a month when I return from a cruise. Clicking subscribe really does help my channel, and best of all, it doesn't cost you a penny. So it's free. And thank you in advance if you choose to subscribe. Right, for the final topic, let's talk activities and entertainment. And oh, the entertainment. Wow. You won't want to miss any of the production shows in the main theater or Eden. But I'll get into more detail about that in a second. Being an elite member in the Captain's Club, you do have an opportunity to go to the backstage tour event, which is held once per cruise. Typically, I want to say on the second day or so, but be sure to check with the concierge desk for specifics. This event is limited in group size, so again, make sure that you do RSVP with your Captain's Club rep. At this event, you have an opportunity to be a part of a Q&A with a few of the cast members and theater technicians. I always find these events very informative and enlightening. Once the Q&A is finished, they take you on stage, give you a bunch of facts and fun figures about the highly technologically advanced theater and how the screens work. Then you go backstage and learn more, and ultimately into the dressing rooms to see basically what they're like, and also have more Q&A. If you're interested in learning about how the ships work or enjoy theater, don't miss this event. Here are some clips of the backstage tour aboard the Beyond.
Yeah, so the cast will come on together and leave together. We're the only group on the ship that'll do that. Even the band, they'll leave separately. Each of them have separate contracts. We're the only group that comes all together and leaves all together.
Downstage, this one goes down. Yeah, so you will see this.
This is gonna move. So just make. Oh my god.
Then everybody can exit now, and then we can head up. So
We have so many costumes, but each cast member has their own mirror, their own section to get ready for the shows. Obviously, we have the monitor here so we can see what's happening on stage. If there's ever a show stop or if there's something going wrong, we can see what's happening.
Pretty cool, huh? So while Celebrity is not Royal Caribbean when it comes to activities and entertainment, at least on the entertainment front, they are coming close to the quality and caliber of Royal Caribbean's Broadway shows, especially on the Beyond and the Ascent. On the Beyond, you will get 3 main theater production shows and 2 shows in the Eden, as well as 1 show in the club. And just so you're aware, there are 2 different theatrical casts on board, one for the main theater and one for the Eden and club. Both on this ship currently are amazing. If you're sailing on the Beyond in the next several months, probably through February, March, or April or so, these are the casts that you're going to see. In terms of guest entertainment, generally you'll get a comedian, a magician, and a few headliner singers to fill in the days in between the production shows. On this sailing we had Ralph Harris as our comedian, and he is incredible. Very talented comedian that I highly suggest you not missing if he is aboard your ship. While comedy, of course, is very subjective, his content is relatable to basically most everybody. We also had a singer named Lamarco, and this guy was very entertaining. Had a pretty good voice and just overall a really solid act, and I would definitely go and see him again. So here's a few clips of his show.
Amazing grace, how sweet that sound.
We also had the incomparable Charity Lockhart. She is one of the only people who is actually qualified to do Aretha Franklin tributes. Charity did 2 shows on the sailing, and I'm so glad that she did. I've seen her before on The Edge and fell in love with her voice. She is an incredible singer with a very eclectic range of music that she performs. One of her shows was solely attributed to Aretha and another dedicated to the incomparable Whitney Houston. While also taking us to church, take a look at some of Charity's work.
We're going
Our magician this sailing was Matt Johnson. He too was very entertaining and did many illusions of which I had no idea how they were done. Here's some of Matt.
The numbers, not out loud, just in your head. Does that make sense? Ready, set, go. Folks, watch this. Debbie, could you stare at the square that contains your number, please? What? Your number's not on there. I guess that could go either way, but is that 89 or 60, 68? 68. Debbie, look at the top line. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 47 is 57, plus 11 is 68. That'd be your number, right? Look at the next line. 48 and 12 is 60, 1 and 7 is 68. 4 and 6 is 10, 49 is 59, and 9 is 68. 5 and 10 and 3 is 18, and 50 is 68. That'd be your number, right? But wait! Guys, look down. 11, 48, 4 and 5 is 68, 68, 68, 68. Diagonally, both ways. It's 68. These 4 add 68. These 4, these 4, these 4. The middle 4 adds 68. And the outside corners, 11 and 2 is 13, 5 is 18, and 50 is 68. Every single combination. Debbie, would you stand up for me, please? Hold my hand. Take it down. Oh, she said I'm incredible. Oh, thank you.
Not only was he very good at his craft, he was also pretty funny. Another entertainer that we had was a gentleman named John Courtney. He was pretty unique, writing most of his own music. Most of the acts that they get for guest entertainers are usually from either American Idol, Britain, or America's Got Talent. So, you know, at least some pretty good quality guest entertainers that you'll find on board Celebrity. I want to save the production shows for last, so let's talk now a little bit about the activities. So Celebrity doesn't really excel when it comes to activities. However, there are still several throughout the day to keep you busy and keep you from getting bored, if you're not wanting to lounge at the pool, that is. You'll find several trivia sessions throughout the course of the day, and you'll find street curling, which is a lot of fun.
We're live in Canada.
We are.
Yes. Chorus from Canada. Okay, so
Several game shows, including Pitfall, which are a lot of fun, as well as Yes or No. There was a scavenger hunt on the pool deck where the activity hosts had to go through the crowd and bring back items to cruise director Lewis, who, by the way, is amazing. And whichever of the activity hosts were faster, or the fastest, I guess I should say, won. This was a lot of fun and had great guest participation.
alright, Victor, today's daily planner. 3, 2, 1. Oh! She's out of there, everybody! Your activity manager, Crystal!
In addition, you'll have the officers versus guests pool volleyball, which is always a lot of fun. You'll find archery, putt-putt, and dart throwing as well throughout the voyage. So there's always often things for you to do, just not quite as involved as maybe Royal Caribbean. If you're into partying and dancing, you'll have a party called Shine the Night on the pool deck, so be sure to wear something shiny and shimmery during this event. You'll have some of your singers and dancers from the theater cast helping to get the party started. There's also an 80s night in the club as well, so bring your bell-bottoms, wigs, and your disco gear, because this one is a lot of fun. Is disco in the 70s or the 80s? Anyway, bring it and you'll still have fun. If you're fortunate enough to have Captain Kate as your captain, be sure to attend trivia for her cat. What is his name? Or her name, I guess I should say. Bug. Bug Naked. And this event is quite honestly a sellout, even though you don't have to pay for anything. It often does fill up. So get there a little bit early and just see how well you know about Bug. Did you know she has her own Instagram? I didn't. Did you also know that she has her own room in Captain's Las Vegas residence? I didn't know that either. So if you're going to Bug Naked Trivia, be sure to remember those 2 fun facts and you might get 2 of the questions right. For the production shows, I'm not going to get too into detail here as I've got a dedicated video solely for these incredible shows, which you can click on the card again in the top right corner right up there, or the link down in the description below. With that said, you will get 3 main shows in the theater. Stage Door, which is going to be your Broadway tribute show. You'll get music from Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, Rent, and much, much more. Here are some clips from Stage Door.
They know what you overcame. Will they know you rewrote the game? When you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up when you rise again.
Really entertaining, huh? I told you, they're good. The next show is called Elements, and this show, very creative and beautifully done, takes you on Ellie, which is the girl's name, her journey through all of the elements of nature. And again, this one is, well, I'll just say be ready to be immersed, as it's really, really well done. Again, really good music, lots of really good dancing. Here's a few clips of Elements.
Dance, 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 and ain't nobody leaving since we dancing. It's like when you walk into the room, you pull me close and you start to move. And we're spinning with the stars above, and you lift me up in a wave of love. I'm not afraid not anymore.
Lastly, the show Arte, which is really cool. Pay close attention to the screen before the show starts and you'll see the art start to come to life. And that's basically what this show is all about, bringing a variety of time periods of art to life. Again, this show is super creative and entertaining with some awesome arrangements of the songs that you know and love. Take a look at some of the scenes from Arte.
Run to, oh, Superman, where are you gonna run to? Where are you gonna run to? All along that day. Oh, Superman, where are you gonna run to? Oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
Even more the morning comes, I see your red door
As I mentioned, there are a couple of shows that are performed in Eden and the club. While I wasn't able to make it to the Jazz Joint, which is the show in the club, I can tell you that it is a great show. However, you will want to get there when the doors open, I want to say 30 minutes prior, to get a good seat, as seating in both the club and Eden is very limited. These aren't the best venues for shows as they're quite small for large crowds. Nonetheless, if you can get a good seat, these shows are definitely not to be missed. Right, so I do apologize for this lengthy video, but I did want to capture some information about each of these topics that cruisers most often ask about. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, please again hit that like button right there down below and consider subscribing with the notification bell on. YouTube thinks that you'll like this video right here down in the corner. Let me get out of the way. So check that one out. So that's going to do it, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, happy cruising. Bye-bye.